Have you ever wondered how I make videos on this channel? Well, in this video, you'll be finding out. What's up guys, it's Raccoon back with another video, and I've been making videos on YouTube for about 3 years consistently, and within that time I've slowly basically progressed from making pretty garbage videos to making decent quality videos, which are alright. I'm still trying to improve, but this is how I make videos. So let's start from the beginning. First we have to create an idea for the video. Now I've noticed on this channel that videos to do with microphones really do well, so I usually focus on audio gear or stuff like that, but sometimes I do like to throw in other content as well because I do find it interesting, and I do like to make videos on other stuff other than audio gear sometimes as well. But really it's up to you guys, and leave it down in the comments below on what videos you would like to see, because that actually helps me out as a creator a lot, because it basically helps me know what people want to see. After I have an idea, I used to write a script. Now I don't really write a script, and I basically just rattle it off the top of my head, and usually it means I have to cut it up a lot, but it is a lot more efficient to make the videos, so in the long run it's worth it. And I still think, even though it's cut up a lot, I think it still ends up turning out pretty decent. So what I do when I'm ready to record is I turn on my computer if it's not already on, which it usually is on anyway. Then I will set up my camera on a tripod, and if you're wondering what camera I have the Canon 6D Mark I. This camera only shoots 1080p at 30 frames a second maximum. I usually shoot at 24, and then I shoot the B-roll in 30 frames a second and slow it down. I think 1080p is perfectly adequate for a YouTube channel. You just have to make sure that you have a proper camera like this DSLR, so you can put high quality lenses on it like I have right now. I'm using a 50mm f1.8, which is what I basically use for all of my channel. Now, to give you a bit of backstory, I used to shoot on a Canon 1200D, which was also a DSLR, and then I moved to the Canon 70D, which was also good. It was in between the two cameras, and it was really good. The video quality was just as good as the 6D. The reason I got the 6D was because it has a much bigger sensor. It's a full frame sensor, so it's much better in low light, and it gives a nice depth of field. Now, before I had all these cameras, before I knew anything about cameras, which was in the early days of this channel, I would either shoot on a phone or just a camcorder which I had lying around, and that basically meant the videos looked absolute garbage, but it's better to start somewhere than nowhere. So for lenses, I used to use a 28mm f2.8 for the talking head shot on the APS-C size sensor camera, which was a smaller sensor, so you need a wider lens for it to have the same field of view. Now I'm able to get away with using a 50mm f1.8 because I'm using a full frame camera, and I use that for basically all my B-roll because it is actually really good with focusing really close, which I actually really like. So yeah, this lens is really good, but I don't use autofocus. I have a vintage lens, so it was very cheap, but it means I have manual focus only, which I don't mind for video at all. Now what I do, since the Canon 6D doesn't have a flip out screen, I just plug a HDMI into my computer from the camera, and then I use OBS, and I can view myself on one of my monitors, and it's always on this side, so that's why sometimes you'll notice that I flick my eyes over there for a second, and when I'm editing the video I always notice that, and I get quite annoyed why I did that, but it's just sometimes I accidentally look over there. Now for the audio side of things, I use whatever microphone the video is about, or whatever I just feel like using. Right now I'm using the Shure SM7B, considering that is my best microphone I have. But yeah, I have that plugged into the Behringer Q802 USB mixer, and then from there that mixer is going straight into the Behringer U4 UM2, which is getting transmitted into the computer. Now on the computer I'm using Audacity to record the audio, and I have the gain set at about 70% on Windows, and all the gain settings about the mixer and the interface I've made in another video. So once I finish recording the A-roll, or the talking head, or whatever you like to call it, basically just me talking to the camera, then it's time for me to record the B-roll. So for the B-roll I have a fluid head tripod, which is a Manfrotto one. It's a nice compact one. I used to have a much bigger one, and I still have that, it's just I much prefer using the compact one, and the bigger one is used somewhere else. Now this tripod I got for a really good deal of only $15, and it really helps out on this channel. I'd say if you want to have high quality B-roll, you basically have to have a fluid head tripod, or have like a gimbal, or you can use your phone with modern stabilization. And you'll notice for some of the shots in this video actually, like of my camera, and of the tripod and stuff, it'll be taken on my Google Pixel 5, and that has really good stabilization. If you have like a Google phone, or any of the modern phones really, they have good stabilization, but I really like that Google phones have that cinematic stabilization, which also slows down the video, and it has like a really smooth stabilization which gets rid of any vibrations. Now, where I record my B-roll is usually on the desk where my computer is, near the keyboard, which you usually see, or I record it behind me in this section just here. Now, over here you'll notice the lighting is usually bad in the videos, but it can create a nice dramatic look to some of the products, so sometimes I do like to go for that look, and I like the colors that I have there, like the nice sort of blue light and then the orange salt lamp, which really contrast together, and then of course the green plant. I think it all works really well together, so I do sometimes shoot there, but I really need to invest in proper lighting, because what I'm using for my talking head here is an IKEA lamp with just a simple DIY softbox made from tissues, which does the job, but you can still see some shadows here on this part of my nose, and yes, it's a lot softer than just shining harsh light at me, but I would like a really nice light eventually, but to be honest, I don't see a point right now. It'll just be mostly used for B-roll, because it'll be really nice to shoot over here with good lighting, so I can shoot all my products over there. Now, for some products I do shoot in other areas of the house, but usually it's just in this room. Now, when I finished recording all the B-roll and all that, then I will open up Adobe Premiere, which is my editing software of choice. Once I open it up, I actually have things spread over two monitors. On the left monitor, I have basically all the editing things, everything there, and then on the right monitor, I just have the video stream of what I'm editing. And this is what I found to be the perfect setup for me, and so I pretty much just import all my media, get all the videos in, and then I sync the audio from the camera to the audio from Audacity with the proper mic. Once I've done that, then I just start chopping up the A-roll. I usually start off with the intro, make sure it's good, then I'll leave a gap for this little B-roll sequence that I usually do after I do the intro, and then I move on to the main section of the video. I just cut it all up. Once it's cut up, it's time to move on to putting the B-roll in. So basically, I usually remember what videos from the B-roll are actually good, so I just put in the good ones and I cut it up. I usually set the speed to about 80%, because 80% of 30 frames a second is about 24 frames a second, which is the same amount of frames a second as the talking head shot is. And that's why I really like shooting in 24 frames a second for my A-roll, because then for my B-roll I can shoot in 30, so I can still get 1080p. While if I shot in 30 for my talking head, if I wanted to slow things down, I'd have to switch down to 720p, 50 frames a second or 60 frames a second, which would just not look anywhere near as good. This is where I'd really like a better camera, but I don't see the reason in upgrading, because this camera still looks really good in the videos in my opinion, and I don't really see a massive reason, but you can let me know in the comments below if you think otherwise. So then basically I just go through the whole video from start to finish, and then just put in the B-roll clips wherever I see fit. Then I go from the intro and make the B-roll sequence and put a few clips on, you play with the music and stuff like that, and just make it look as good as possible. So then I export the video, and I export it in 4K in Adobe Premiere Pro, because on YouTube likes to compress the videos a lot and make 1080p look like absolute garbage. So what I do is I upscale the video into 4K, so people can watch it at 1440 or 4K, and then it'll look like it actually is meant to look. Once it's exported, it's time to make the thumbnail, but in the meantime I usually just start uploading the video, and then I get started on making the thumbnail. So usually I take a photo when I'm shooting the B-roll of whatever product it is, but if I haven't, then I have to pull out my camera and try and think of a good thumbnail. And sometimes you'll notice that I upload the videos with a really bad thumbnail, because I'm just trying to get the video out on time, and then later I will upload a proper thumbnail, which isn't actually that good for the channel, but sometimes that's just how I have to do it. So once the video is uploaded, I just need to fill in everything, put a nice description and a title, and of course upload the thumbnail, then fill out all the tags, and then just do all the other things like put end screens and channel cards and all that type of thing, and then basically just schedule the video for the time I always upload videos, and then that's it. Then I'm done, and then it's time to make the next video. So hopefully this video gave you an idea of what work goes into making these videos. It's actually not a lot of time, it's just I'm busy with other things, so that's why it usually takes a long time to make a video, and I have to spread it over the course of the week. So if you did enjoy this video, drop a like on the video. If you didn't, drop a dislike on the video. Remember to subscribe to the channel and leave any comments you have or questions you have in the comments below. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.